Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is How to Find God, a program brought to you by Eckanker, the path of spiritual freedom. My name is Tenye Akobo. Today we'll be talking about understanding freedom and responsibility. In the studio with me, I have Joaibi Basi.
Thank you for having me.
And Peter Ezu.
I'm happy to be here.
Can help expand your awareness.
Singing hymn can help you experience divine love. Singing hymn can heal a broken heart.
Singing hymn offers solace during times of grief.
Singing hymn can help bring peace and calm.
What does it mean to be free? What is freedom?
Freedom is a state of being without problem, not being enslaved by whatever is holding you down, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually. You just realize that sometimes we feel as if we're encased in all these problems we have. And being free means you're telling yourself you're no longer in that closed situation. You're not encased in all the problems we have or whatever situation is happening in society. That's what freedom means.
Peter, care to join in on that?
Oh, yes. Freedom is the ability to act or do something, without being controlled by another, or being free from any kind of confinement or prison, or probably being able not to do things that you're desirable of doing without being restricted. Most times we think we are free, but we are not really free because there are things confining us. We are enslaved by certain factors in our life. It could be a problem that we have that is enslaving us. It could even be some wealth that we possess. We are so attached to it that we are not. For instance, sometimes you are somewhere very far away from your house, but you're not there because you're thinking about one carton of money that you have under your bed that somebody may take it. You're not here. And you're not there, you're not really free. You're attached to that money, so you're not free from it.
Oh, interesting. To build up on that, how does one achieve freedom then?
Oh, to achieve freedom, there are a few things that you need to do. But in Eckanker, we'll talk about, there are some spiritual exercises that Eckanker teaches, one of which is singing the hymn, this holy and sacred name for God. When you sing it, it develops more love in you to the extent that you become detached, from some of these things that enslave you. You become free. You have access to God. And having access to God means that you're free from these lower things that pull you down.
Peter speaks about spiritual exercises. What are those?
The spiritual exercises are what the Master teaches us to do, such as the hymn song. The hymn is the holy name for God. And when we sing it, it opens our hearts to love. And what God teaches us all the time, we are here as souls to learn how to love our neighbors, friends, pets, animals. And when we love, then we are getting ourselves ready to be liberated. Because once we have freedom, we are free, we are liberated, we can live our life without restrictions. So this hymn enables us to be free.
Excellent. You said the master. Who is the master?
The Mahanta, the living Ek master. He's the spiritual leader of Eckanker. And he is our guide. He teaches us in the inner and as well as the outer in our dreams. He is our spiritual master.
Thank you so much, YB. Peter, so when one gets liberated, when one becomes free, Are there anything, things that we become responsible for? And how do we handle responsibility in that light?
Yeah, responsibility. What am I responsible for? I'm responsible for my life. And what it means is that, what life am I talking about here? I'm training towards mastership. So I have a responsibility to attain mastership. I'm master of what? Master of my life. To be in charge of my life. You know, not being pulled by a lot of things like what we call sometimes the 5 passions of the mind. You're talking about anger, you're talking about lust, you're talking about greed, you're talking about undue attachment to material things, and you're talking about vanity. Maybe I'll share an experience here that touches on about 2 of 3 of these passions. A few days ago, I was driving to work in the morning. I got an intersection where there was a kind of a traffic. So one small vehicle, you know, public transport, some of these public vehicles, that small bus, you know, was very unruly, refused to join, you know, the traffic. I said to go a different way. So there's this man who was on his lane, but somehow he scratched his car. Very beautiful car he had. Very, very beautiful car he had. So the man scratched him and moved a little. He stopped the vehicle on the middle of the road, ran after the man, because there was traffic, was able to catch him, brought him out of the vehicle, carried him, used his head to hit on a wall, you know, and pulled him until he dumped him in front of his car and said, "Repair this car." And I said, what has happened here? You see a few things here. You see anger, very dangerous poison and perversion of the mind. You see attachment. Oh, you've spoiled my car, and he's willing to kill for that car. You see vanity. Vain, do you know who I am? You think you can do this and go away? These are things that when you begin to do the spiritual exercise, like she said, singing the hymn, you grow above some of these things. And the truth of the matter was, it was even vanity that caused the impact on his car, because if he had an impatience, because the mental illness master, as he mentioned, talks about patience. If he had waited for a second, that incident wouldn't have been there. So we are tending towards being free from some of these passions, and when we do, our life runs a little more smoothly than when we are embroiled with these passions.
Oh, thank you so much. That was very, very helpful. JB, the freedom we speak about, I hear most of the pointers has been towards spiritual growth. Can one also experience physical growth by learning about spiritual freedom, or freedom in the way you said it?
Yes, you can experience physical growth.
Do you want to tell us more about that?
There was a time, you know, I used to think that you don't grow except you eat the right food. So you tell yourself you have to eat right, but you have to take the right foods as well as the right spiritual food. And when you grow, it encompasses every aspect of your life. Now, how do you grow physically? Is by eating the right foods. How do you go spiritually? Is by taking in the right food, which is the hue. And when we sing the hue, we tend to grow, because you not only grow in physical aspect, you grow spiritually. How? Becoming aware. Because you want to grow in consciousness. How do you grow in consciousness? By being aware of what you are supposed to learn, what you're supposed to do. Like he said, it's the awareness that made him open his eyes to see the drama that was playing out in front of him. If he was that way, he would follow the drama and be arguing on behalf of, after all, this man's fault. But you are open enough to see that there are lessons to learn. That is the growth we are talking about. The growth is understanding that there is a level of growth that comes with awareness, consciousness. Where you are is a state of consciousness, and where we're aspiring to is to be high in consciousness. And the only way we can do that is by continuous singing of this huge song the Master has given us to sing.
Yes, this growth that we're talking about.
Yes, please.
Has to do with an individual being able, like I said earlier, being in charge of his life. You know, something happened on the day an individual was trying to buy a piece of land. And then when he got to the point of his making a decision, he said, wait, I have not called my spiritual director. And I was there watching. I said, spiritual director? Okay, well, that is fine, because that is his level of consciousness. But for me, I don't need to call any individual to take a decision. All I need to do is to sing the hymn, this holy and sacred name of God, connect with God, which sits within me, and ask for guidance from God, and take my own decision, because the responsibility is also mine. So if the responsibility is mine, then I should be free to take my decision. I don't need anybody validating my decision other than me. That's some of the things that we pick, and that is when you say that, like you said, you're growing in consciousness. You're getting to know better than an average individual.
All right, we've been talking about understanding freedom and responsibility.
Singing hymn can help expand the awareness.
Singing hymn can help you experience divine love.
Singing hymn can heal a broken heart.
Singing hymn offers solace during times of grief.
Singing hymn can help bring peace and calm.
Welcome back. This is How to Find God, a program brought to you by Eckanker. Before the break, I was discussing with Peter Ezu and Joaibi Bassi about understanding freedom and responsibility. We've talked about the benefit of being free spiritually and how that can improve you as an individual, both spiritually and physically, if you may. We're going to get back now to discussing the topic a bit more. So, the question I have now is, you've spoken about how there's a lot of spiritual advantage and working with the Mahanta and a lot of other aspects of spiritual growth. And my question now is, and this is to you, Peter, is spiritual growth for everybody, not just members of Eckanker?
Yes. The truth is that everybody is growing. Everybody is growing physically. For instance, a few years ago, I wasn't this tall.
That's a shade at me, but
you know, but insofar as you keep on eating food, you know, the day is going by, you keep on growing. And as you're growing physically, you're growing materially. You know, I didn't just become a professional or whatever. I had to go through school, primary school, secondary school, that is a process. It's a growing process. It's a process of growth. Now, materially speaking, you still grow. Now, Eckanker teaches you there are a way of behavior, thinking, that will place you in a position that you would, as in a comfortable position or a position of discomfort. That thoughts are things. You know, so by the time we are responsible for our life, and whatever position that we've been able to attain in our life is our own making. Like the cliche, as you make your bed, so you lie on it. And that is why we need the guidance of the Mahanta, the living Ekmaster, which we get when we sing the hymn. I keep on repeating because that's very important to me. You know, so when you do it, you have this guidance as per the type of food you can eat so that you will grow properly, as per the type of thought pattern that you will have so that you don't poison yourself as well as poison your environment by your own thinking and your own action, and the type of action you may carry to be a responsible citizen. All these ones are the growth that you will get as a person. You know, I don't want to reduce it into specifics about a particular growth, you know, job done, money made. I think that's what people want to hear, you know, but that's not exactly what I want to say. It's holistic. It's like a full package. You know, you are a well-rounded individual. You know, you're not found wanting in any area of your life, spiritually, materially, or otherwise. You know, once you begin to practice the teachings of Eckanker, you are a full-blown individual that is enjoying the experiences of life and learning from it.
JB, you want to join in?
Yes.
Please.
You know, talking about what we think and what we do, as a part of being responsible. In the teachings, it says that whatever you think, whatever you do, whatever you say, you are accountable for it. And once you are accountable for it, you now tend to watch what you say, watch what you think, and watch what you do. Because everything is going to come back to you. Assuming that you're walking on the streets and you see a dog, the tendency when you see a dog, most people see dogs, they tend to run. This dog is going to chase me. It's you thinking it. And once they give a thought life, it takes action. So to stop the thought, there's a cartoon my kids watched back then. It talks about how you can, the character was reducing the characters in the dream to cartoon characters. And so when it reduces them to cartoon characters, the kids in the dream just get excited and they are laughing. So when you see a dog, instead of making a dog look very huge and aggressive in your eyes, reduce it to the size of a puppy. And that way you have used love to generate that incident, and you have reduced it to a puppy. You find that most people that see dogs, they want to run. I bet hold your dog, it's going to bite me. And with that expression on their faces, the dog senses the fear in you and attacks. But when you put your attention on, look, dog, I'm not interested in you biting me. I'm giving you all the love I can give you as a dog. Please leave me alone. Once you're tending to do that, you see that the dog just looks at you, sniffs your hands, and walks away. So that is how you use creativity to always handle issues around you, because even thoughts have life. Whatever you say, you can think it, or you say, after all, I think from my mind, I didn't say it loud. It has taken life of its own. You say something in your mind, this person is wicked. Wow, definitely this person will do something wicked to you. So if you want love, please learn to give people love. If you want your freedom, please don't encroach on the next person's freedom, because definitely once you do that, the person will come and encroach on you and you won't like it, because everybody loves their freedom. So I have learned that if you want things from life, please give back to life what you want from life. That is the essence of Eckanker teachings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, YB. So you spoke about how love and creativity is the key. Peter spoke about how it's all about you, an individual trying to undo these things. I'm guessing your mastery of this is because you're members of Eckanker. How are you going to translate this teaching to a non-Ekist? Is freedom, understanding freedom and responsibility also for non-Ekists or non-members of Eckanker? And how do they tap into it?
Yeah, that is correct. It's for everybody. You know, because it's a spiritual law. It's a spiritual law that everything grows. And part of the spiritual law too is that whatever you sow, you reap, which some people call karma. That law is very exacting. It doesn't know whether or not you are a member of Eckanker. So, growth is for everybody. It's like 1 + 1 being 2. If you have the right actions, you get the right results. If you put in the wrong actions, you get, in quote, the wrong result. Whatever you sow, whatever you put into life is what you will get. For instance, if you sow okra and you get to your farm and you see apple, you run away.
Yes.
You run away. It's a natural thing. But human beings will want to sow okra and then reap apple. but it is not possible. Growth is for everybody, both for members of Eckanker and non-members of Eckanker. But the difference is that an Ekist is a knower. That is, he knows why things happen the way they do. Why some other persons live a life of wishful thinking, notwithstanding the fact that we all know that wishes are not horses. If they were, everybody would have been able to ride them. So you think you can wish your life into an experience of your, well, sometimes you have it, pleasant, other times, but you live a life that lacks control. An Ekist has full control of his life. He knows where he's going to, where he's growing into, or what he's growing into, and he's expected to get there, keeping on with his spiritual exercise and doing what he needs to do as a member of Eckanker.
Yeah, because
non-Ekist, what can I get out of it?
It's a general, because everybody, we're all living in this physical world. We're all aspiring to one day, like people say, die and go to heaven. But in the process of these things we're doing here, we're all learning. And like he says, it is a general rule. It's a spiritual law. What you sow, you will reap. So it's not only Ekist that believe that whatever you sow, you reap. It's a general law, and it's a spiritual law. Whatever you put out there will return back to you. So to live a spiritual life, you need to understand that the law exists, that whatever you do, you will get back.
That's very lovely. Would any of you want to share an experience for us to take away with? Anything you like to?
Anyway, talking about growth.
A short experience.
Yes, very short experience. Talking about growth. Growing up, I used to be a very angry person. I complained about everything, about my life, about everything. I wasn't quite happy with the way things were. Then I now found the part of Eckanker, and I started singing the hymn, this holy and sacred name for God, and now meeting the Godman of the time, the Mahanta Livneck Master, and a lot of things changed. Anger stopped being a problem too. Some people don't know that anger is poison. Somebody said it this way, that anger is like taking poison and expecting the object of your anger to die. Yes. Meanwhile, you clean yourself. So it was a problem for me, until when I now started practicing Eckanker, and it left me to the point where on a day, my secretary looked at me and said, Oga, they ever get angry. And that was the way, and all I did was to thank God for this growth. I never knew that, because for my mind, when she said it, I was like, if you had known me a couple of years ago, you wouldn't be saying this. So this is something that I learned as a member of Eckanker, working with this freedom and responsibility.
Singing hymn can help expand your awareness.
Singing hymn can help you experience divine love.
Singing hymn can heal a broken heart.
Singing hymn offers solace during times of grief.
Singing hymn can help bring peace and calm.
Oh, that's very lovely. Would you like to give us something that we can reflect on later?
Well, for me, it's looking at spiritual freedom and responsibility as loving yourself enough to do the right thing all the time. Because if you love yourself, if you love God, because God says love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you do all those things out of love, then there's no way you will not be responsible for whatever happens in your life, because you will not be free and give the next person freedom by always singing the hymn to direct your life.
Thank you so much, Peter. Any departing words?
Yes, flowing from what she said, what do we actually need to have this spiritual freedom? First I would say, we must learn to love ourselves, like she said, then be able to love our neighbors, and by the time we've done these two, we'll now be able to love God. And by the time we'll be able to love God, we'll have the opportunity of being able to connect with the God-man of the time, the Mahanta Belief Neckmaster. And the key to all of this is the spiritual exercise of Ek. The one, you know, that it's very much available for everybody to use and very efficient and effective is singing this holy and sacred name for God, be healed. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Thank you, Joy, and thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much.
It's been How to Find God, a program brought to you by Eckanker, the path of spiritual freedom. This is all the time we have. We'll be back next week. My name is Tenye Akobo.